Photosynthesis is a complex process in which light energy from the sun is converted into chemical energy that can be used by the plant and animals further down the food chain. The process usually occurs inside the cells of leaves of plants. In these cells are tiny organelles called chloroplasts, which give the green color to leaves. In the chloroplasts, carbon dioxide from the air is combined with water and sunlight to produce glucose, a type of sugar. It is then converted into ATP, which can be used as energy by the cell. In this way, light energy is transformed into chemical energy that can be used by the plant for its own growth and development. A byproduct of the photosynthesis process is the creation of oxygen that is released into the atmosphere. Life on the planet could not exist without photosynthesis. Virtually all of the oxygen in the atmosphere, which is essential for the life of all animals, was produced through this process. But animals are also indebted to the cells of plants and algae in another way. When animals eat plants, they gain glucose, starch, carbohydrates, and other foods that are essential for them to survive. Even carnivores that never eat plants get these nutrients by eating animals that have eaten them. An increasing concern is that with the burning of fossil fuels by automobiles, factories, and home heating, much more carbon dioxide is being produced in the world than can be absorbed by plants and algae. This is contributing to the greenhouse effect and global warming, and is even slowly reducing the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. Unless measures are taken to reduce the burning of fossil fuels, we will face massive changes in weather patterns and our ability to survive. For organisms and species to survive, they must reproduce and pass along the genetic information that they have inherited to succeeding generations. The genetic information is contained in the DNA held in the nucleus of the cells. This DNA must be exactly replicated in every cell of the organism. There are two types of reproductive processes: sexual, called meiosis, and asexual, called mitosis. Mitosis is also called cell division. In this process, the cell divides and two cells are created that are the exact copies of each other, much like a copy machine. Prokaryotic cells, such as bacteria, only reproduce in this way. The loop of DNA in the cytoplasm is replicated, resulting in two identical copies. Each moves to separate ends of the cell, a membrane forms in the middle of the parent cell, and then divides into two daughter cells, each with an entire set of genetic material that is exactly the same. Eukaryotic cells also divide by mitosis. When new cells such as skin, muscle, and nerves are required by the organism, the chromosomes replicate themselves, pull apart, separate, and the nuclear membrane breaks down. Gradually, the cytoplasm separates into two parts, the cell's membrane pinches in from the sides, and two distinct cells are created, each with exactly the same genetic material. Multicellular organisms create new offspring sexually. This process of sexual reproduction occurs in animals and most plants with the union of two sex cells called the sperm and egg. Sex cells are produced only in the sex organs by a process called meiosis, resulting in sperm or egg cells, each containing only one set of chromosomes, instead of the two copies found in body cells. When fertilization occurs, the chromosomes of the egg fuse with the chromosomes of the sperm to create a full complement of chromosomes in the fertilized cell. In this way, the new organism contains hereditary information from both the father and the mother. Once fertilized, the cell begins to divide and multiply using the process of mitosis, or cell division. Eukaryotic cells have the remarkable ability to join together into complex multicellular organisms such as plants and animals. A human being, for example, starts life as a single fertilized cell. It then grows into an adult with approximately 100 trillion cells that have various specializations. Each cell is an organism, and yet together they make up another organism, the human being. Different kinds of cells are organized into specialized groups called tissues. Tendons and bones are composed of connective tissues. Muscles, skin, and organs are all made up of their own specialized cells that are adapted to perform specific functions. Organs, in turn, are organized into systems such as circulatory, digestive, or nervous systems. All of these systems and tissues are made up of cells. Although all of the cells of an individual plant or animal have exactly the same DNA, the cells can be radically different in appearance and function. The plant cells of tree trunks are box-like for structural strength, but the cells of leaves are spongy and flexible. Muscle cells are long and elastic for strength and flexibility. Skin cells are flat and packed tightly into layers to give protection to the tissues that lie beneath. Nerve cells have long tentacles like an octopus to enable them to connect with other nerve cells and send and receive messages rapidly. All of these cells are adapted to perform specific functions so that they sustain the life of the larger organism. Genes control this process, called cell differentiation. The genes respond to changing environmental stimuli, such as glucose levels in the blood or body temperature. They suppress certain cell functions and characteristics and enhance others to make the cells adapt to specific conditions that are necessary to create the tissues. This ability of multicellular organisms to develop specialized cells that can communicate and function together in a coordinated way as a unit or organism has led to the development of the great variety of species of plants and animals that exists on our planet. Cells are the fundamental units of life, remarkable building blocks that create and sustain life in all of its forms.